All right, so we're joined by my man, owner of Bradley Ford and Associates, All-State extraordinaire, Bradley Ford. We thank you so much for joining us today. This is our business law class here at Velma Jackson. I've got a room full here with me of all young men at Velma Jackson today. We're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County schools. My good friend April Majors over at Ridgeland High School, Madison Central High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Option Center, and our YouTube channel. So thank you so much for having this important conversation with us today about insurance.
Awesome, awesome. So, great morning, everyone. Hope everybody's having an amazing Friday morning. I'm fired up this morning. My staff is rolling, and we are taking care of families per usual, right? Helping them protect their wealth, their wills, and their walls. All right. A little bit about myself. I'm from Indianola, Mississippi, home of BB King, of course. Started there, went through struggles, trials, and tribulations like everybody else. Life, right? Uh, a graduate of Gentry High School, where I was a three-sport athlete: basketball, football, and track. Football happened to be one of my long-lasting paths that I took. It gave me opportunity to earn scholarships uh, beyond high school, right? And I'm a graduate of Delta State twice, undergrad. Thought I wanted to be a coach and a teacher, right? No pun intended. But I ended up going into the business world, and I ended up getting my master's in business administration
Wow.
later at Delta State University as well. And since then, of course, I am got married, had children. I started a family, married to the beautiful Valencia Ford. Okay, she's from Indianola as well, and we have three beautiful children. Brad Jr., 16, who's attending Brandon High. Braden, who's 11, and our first and only daughter, who is 2 years old. So we started all the way back over, right? So if you see the gray strings on my chin, that is one reason why. All right,
That's
so
awesome.
let's get, oh yeah, oh yeah. So beautiful family. Um, since then, guys, I've had a path of being in sales ever since I graduated from Delta State, sales and management through my entire time. Got a chance to meet some wonderful people, network, um, get mentored by some great people, and here I go. Right, so I never knew what I wanted to do. Right, I never know what I wanted to do until let me back up two steps. Just quick icebreaker for you all. And I know it's not interactive. However, I know if I had the question to say, who wants to be a millionaire? If I had $1 million today, right, what would you buy first? The first things for our teenage group, most time, especially our African American males, right? Because this is something they see in their environment. If I can be transparent, cars, chains, houses, jewelry, shoes, clothes, etc. Right? The grill in their mouths, the bling. And then after that, it's like, hey, what's the real question? How do you keep it? Right? And as you noticed, I just stated that we help protect your wealth, wheels, and walls. How do we keep that? Right? So the way we keep that is where we come in at insurance, right? And financial literacy. That's what it's about. Okay. All right. Now, in my industry, um, and let me just back up. Bradley Ford and Associates, Allstate. We have two locations. I'm the CEO of the second location as well, Flowood, Mississippi, where my lovely wife, Mrs. Ford, is the agency owner there as well. What I was able to do is start the foundation of opening this first location back in 2021. Start the process in 2020 through COVID, and that was in the pandemic that was very challenging. And then we migrated toward just building a team and building the agency, right? And this was 100% funded by Brad Ford. Okay,
Wow.
and I'm 100% entrepreneur, right? Serial entrepreneur, mentor. I also coach. I have a consulting firm. Also, I'm an investor in my own trucking company where we have Ford Logistics, and we're going on strong for 3 years now. going on 4, and I wear a lot of hats. And but mainly my thing is management and sales and logistics. Just a few things that I do. Okay, and a lot of my path prior to this has put me in a position to get to where I am. Me being coachable, me having a great work ethic. I've been working a long time, and that was thanks to my parents, my grandmother, my dad, and my mom, who I saw work relentlessly throughout the years, having several jobs, and seeing them lead people and be leaders within their industries, and that's what led me to where I am. Of course, much discipline, much sacrifice, and a whole lot of hustle. Okay, so um, insurance. I found my way into the insurance industry back in 2017. I started part time while I was working a full time job as an in house solution manager for AT&T at that time, and I started part time working for a known company selling life insurance part time. All right, I was building teams on the back end and had a full time job training in the evenings and helping families secure their legacy and their final expenses. Right. So, with that being said, I've always wanted. I never knew what I wanted to be besides being a businessman, but I didn't. That was very vague, and it's okay when you're 18 years old not to just know, just as long as you're moving forward. And
Yeah, and
at
I've
that
got all
time,
10th graders today, so everybody here with me today is 16, 17.
wow, awesome. So you all are headed to in that direction, right? You all are
Yeah.
headed in that direction, and it's okay not to know what you quite want to be yet, because as long as you're moving forward and you're in the right environments and around the right type of people, and you have a focused mind as far as being positive and optimistic with work ethic and not being lazy, you will be just fine. You're going to find your niche. And that's what I did. I found my niche in management and sales. I'm a people's person. I'm in the people's business, right? And my business cannot operate without the people. Okay. So fast forward, Bradley Ford and Associates, of course, what we do, again, my slogan is help protect your wealth, wheels, and walls. Let's talk about the wealth. Okay. We'll start backwards. And this is one of the most important pieces. We work very hard for our money. We work very hard for our families, and how we're going to protect it if we die too soon, if we live too long, right? How we're going to protect and set ourselves up for retirement. That's when insurance comes into play, right? How we're going to set ourselves up for our if we die too soon and we have young children that's still living, right? We want to have an income replacement plans in place, right? Also known as life insurance, right? If we're running and operating businesses and we pass, do we want that legacy and that business continue for our families? Yes. Right. So that's why I chose entrepreneurship as well. Right. Again, it didn't come by default. I had to work under someone first, learn the ropes, be coachable, stay humble, put the desired work in, do a lot of reading, do a lot of studying on my industry, right? A lot of video watching, a lot of podcast listening. It was a lot of prerequisites prior to this, and I also understood that your net worth equals your network equals your net worth. And
There you
what that
go.
means is basically the people that you rub elbows with and you introduce yourself to. Get outside of the comfort zone. Introducing yourself to people, it will begin to open doors. And I'll share this with the person that knows the most people and introduce himself to the most people or herself to the most people are the ones that are going to be most successful when it comes to business, because you have to know people, right? You have to know people. So,
And people have to know you.
and they have
It,
to know
it's
you.
definitely a
Yep.
two-way street.
It's a two-way street, right? So the perception that the way you perceive yourself is the way most people are going to perceive you. So that's why it's always good to stay polished, to keep yourself up to part, make sure you're speaking well, right? To work on those things, make sure you're in the right places at the right time, right? Staying away from negativity, because if we're being honest, we know that most of us, like me, coming from the same type of uh, poverty-stricken environment, just like you guys are in, with less resources and not a lot of great leadership, uh, you're going to fail if you become a product of your environment, if you let that be your final destination, right? But you can turn that around, right? And this industry has done things for me outside of my wildest dream and imagination, right? Now, first thing I would say, uh, as far as us protecting your wealth, we talk about protecting legacy. We talked about the wheels. We're talking about making sure that we protect the vehicles that you also love, right? We love the Scat Packs. We love the Hemis and things of that nature, the Chargers, the Hellcats. However, those has to be protected, right? And we are the ones that does that. If you think about it, in our industry, we're able to ensure and take care of something for every household because this is something that's recession proof. And this one reason that I got in this business. During the COVID time and everything else was down, we were up. Okay. So we were taking care of families. That's when they were tightening down on their policies, trying to make sure they had enough coverage on their life insurance policies, just in case if something happens, because a lot of people were perishing at that time, right? Due to being sick and ill and not being able to recover. So families were making sure they had their affairs in order, financial affairs. Okay. Now we talk about we talked about the wheels. We talk about not only your vehicles, right? We talk about your four wheelers. We talk about your boats, things that you like to do for fun, right? Your ATVs. We talk about your go karts, your motorcycles. All of those things has to be properly protected, right? Because if something happens, unless you have thousands and millions of dollars, how will you fix those things? Correct. And for medical purposes, m- medical bills are extremely expensive. Who's going to take care of those? So insurance helps you alleviate from paying the big amounts. You pay the less amount, such as deductibles, where the insurance company is guaranteed to pay the large amounts. That's how insurance works. That's basics of insurance, right? So we talk about the walls. We talk about your home. We talked about wealth. We talked about the wheels, and now we talk about the walls. Your homes, right? Some If something happens, such as what we just experienced, especially across the Delta, North Mississippi, where we had the ice storm, where we have power outages, food spoilage, people having trees to fall through their roofs. That's when we come in at, right? A lot of people have a love-hate relationship with insurance because they think insurance is boring. It's nothing that they can touch. It's nothing tangible, and they think, "Hey, we're paying too much for this. I can't see it." But the love-hate relationship is this: they hate to pay monthly, but they love us when we're the heroes during those needed times,
There
right?
you
When we're
go.
helping revive their things that they work so hard for, right? To put roofs over your head, clothes over your body, and your income, jobs, and businesses. When they're affected, we come into play, right? So we talk about the homes. If you own properties, some of you may want to own properties. I'm a real estate investor as well. And we have to make sure that those properties are insured, right? Because if you have tenants living in those homes and you're collecting long-term rental income from those people, you have to make sure it is properly protected because now you're protecting your income and your asset. That home is one of your assets that you purchase to make long-term income and revenue off of, right? We're talking money. We're talking wealth, okay? Now, we talked about protecting the walls. We're talking about your home. We talked about the landlord. Now, what about your business if you're an entrepreneur like myself? I have a lot of thousands of dollars of equipment, computers. We have desktop printers. We have shredders. We got all this stuff in here, files everywhere, right? Desk, furniture, office furniture. If all of these things were damaged during a event or fire or something like that, how am I going to protect that? Again, insurance. We're protecting within these four walls, and we can also protect the outside structure of the entire building. So if your home goes up into flames, or if your home is blown away by a storm, insurance, right? When your parents pass, or if a loved one passed that you love so dearly, insurance, right? How they're paying for the funeral, insurance, supposedly. Now, what we see a lot of times in the African American community, and we're going to be honest and transparent, guys, we see uh, catfish. We're doing fish fries, catfish fries. We're doing fundraisers. And you may have been involved where a or overheard family members discussing um, GoFundMe's for a loved one that passed. And you know why? Because they were not financially responsible while they were here on earth. Or if they were under 18, their parents were not financially responsible enough to make sure they had what they need in place. Hard conversation, very touchy, but it's real and transparent, right?
Absolutely.
So in the African American community, right? I know that because of lack of resources, lack of knowledge, and lack of attention to detail in this matter, we don't focus on these areas. We don't focus on the life insurance piece, right? Which we should. And we have to change the trajectory. And it's time for you guys to change the trajectory of your family history. Break those barriers. Set your family members up so that when you go to heaven, you can smile down knowing that your family is financially set up, that your children are in a great position where if you left today, the income will continue to roll in. Your kids will still have what they need to attend school, college, right? To have funds to get married, to start that business, right? Because you set yourself up properly and your family. So life insurance is not strictly about you, the person, or the dead. It's about the legacy that you're leaving and your family that's going to still be here, right? And that's where we come in at. And guys, I can say that financially, if this is a path, career path later in life that you want to come across, or if you think about it, it could be very, very steady and stable, and it could be very lucrative for you. Extremely lucrative, right? Not the physical hard work, but utilizing your brain, right? And you're all you're doing is educating, transferring information, and transferring that into accounts to take care of people, right? You're trading, and like my old high school principal, Mr. Pierce McIntosh, always said, we trade what you know for the dollar, right? So this is something, and this career path is something that you don't have to go to school for 10 years, right? But do you have to do some studying to get credentials? Yes. Right? Do you have to go to college? No. But you have to have the adequate thought process, the mindset, be around the right people. I also encourage you guys to invest into mentorship. That's how I got here. Being able to be coachable, right? And I'm still learning as I continue to grow, as I continue to grow. And the person who stops learning is the person who's going to shut down and become stagnant in their career path in their lives because they're not inputting positive things inside of your mind. Again, I'm where you're from. Same type of area, same environment. I saw the drugs, I saw the alcohol abuse, right? We grew up playing sports all day, all night. Cars riding up and down the street, bumping the loud music. I was that person at some point, trying to get the attention from the girls, right? Laying back after you wash the car, playing music, having the windows down so someone can see you. That's okay, right? But as you transition in life, you want to start to find your purpose. You want to start to dig deep down and say, hey, why am I here on earth? And you want to leave earth empty, okay? And that was one of my things. I always wanted to make sure I leave here empty. So you want to be benevolent. You want to give back to the community, right? I've been able to give back to the community by getting myself in a position to have a great quality of life for my family, right? To choose how they're educated, to help them choose career paths. And I have a business, several businesses that we can hand down to those boys and to our daughter in the future. So a few things I want to leave with you. And then I want to open up for Q&A if we
All right.
have the time for that. me one quick second here. I just want to talk about five key things. Okay. Five key principles that I live by. Okay. Discipline beats talent. Quick example. Growing up, even in sports, right? I saw a lot of guys who were naturally talent, talented. However, I always wondered, like, man, I got a scholarship. I wasn't as fast as this guy. I wasn't as strong as this guy. He was just natural, but he didn't get a scholarship. He didn't move forward, right? Because sometimes he had an attitude, because sometimes he didn't want to run the sprints, because sometimes he didn't want to work out in the gym, right? Because he thought he had it all together. I did the hard things. My work ethic kept me there, right? So that came in place where we talk about discipline. Discipline beats talent, okay? Second thing, mentorship matters. I've had several mentors that helped me alleviate and avoid mistakes that they made as I kept going through my career path, right? And I still have mentors now, okay? So invest into a mentor. Mentorship is important. Third thing, read more than you scroll. We all have Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat accounts, LinkedIn for you professionals. However, we have to put away the phones and stop looking at everybody else's life because we're comparing. Comparison is the thief of joy. Come back to your own life and say, hey, what can I pour into me today that's going to help me be better tomorrow? So I read books, right? Personal development books, business development books, books about spirituality, things that's going to keep me connected to who I want to be and who I want to become. Fourth thing, learn a skill that pays. Again, I talked about trading what
There
you
you
know for the
go.
dollar, right? Whether that's plumbing, electricity, right? Whether that's bricklaying, whether that's truck driving, learn a skill that pays, right? Whether that's being a nurse, right? Some guys may want to do that, right? Whatever it is, learn a skill, right? If you learn a skill, you'll never be broke in your life, okay? Fifth thing, ownership changes families.
There you go.
I could talk about it. I'm living it. I'm able again to provide a great quality of life for my family. I'm able to help them plan out their future. I'm able to set up a plan as far as a long-term plan for my family and my business because of ownership. I'm able to still go to watch my son's games, football games, basketball, track games because of flexibility and ownership. And I'm not doing it by myself. I have a team. In order to grow, you have to have a business that's scalable. Okay, that you're able to scale. And that means that you can duplicate yourself, duplicate systems and processes to have others to do that. Okay, that's the basic terminology of that. But I'm able to leave and vacate with my wife after working hard. And watch this, ownership is also allowing me to work from anywhere in the world. One of my dreams was working from anywhere in the world. And a few years ago, I think my second year on my agency, about 5 years ago, I was able to achieve a dream of being in Miami on the beach with my shirt off and shades on, with my wife beside me, with my laptop working. It can happen. Not only rappers, not only NBA stars, not only your baseball athletes, not only your NFL players or celebrities or movie stars, you can be that person. It's all about mindset, putting yourself there, still dreaming, never stop dreaming, utilizing your imagination, just like you were when you was a smaller kid. When we pass by those houses and say, "Oh, I like that house. That's my house." The big houses, that's my car. You can still claim that, put that down on paper, have a vision, write it, make it plain, and put a plan together of execution. You can do that. All right. So with that being said, I want to open up real quick for Q&A. Any questions for me
Yeah,
if we have that platform for
yeah,
that?
they've handed a few questions to me, but one thing I did want to talk about is, and I know you mentioned the environment of the Mississippi Delta, and I've spent a lot of time there. I was born there, so it is one of the tougher places to be from. There's no way to sugarcoat that. But
Hmm.
however, it's not about where you start, it's about where you finish. And you talked
Absolutely.
about building your network. So part of being successful in business is, like you said, being able to walk in a room and introduce yourself, being confident, being a great speaker, being
Hmm.
a great salesperson. If you can sell something, it doesn't matter if you go to college or not. If you can sell something, companies are going to want you. And these
Yes,
guys,
absolutely.
and they do a good job, but they get so upset when they have to present in front of the class. And it's not to be mean, but it's to help them build those communication skills. So how important is that as they start deciding what their future, what they want their future to hold?
Start right now by being bold, doing the hard things that you don't want to do. I can recall taking public speaking classes when I was younger, and that was a part of the curriculum when I first hit Mississippi Delta Community College when I was JUCO playing football, and my first year in school. I had to do public speaking, and it wasn't fun for me. Of course, I had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's what I would tell you right now. Prepare yourself and just do it. Throw yourself in the fire. And those who do what a lot of people don't do most time and take the road that's less taken are most of the time the ones who are going to be successful. So take that as advice from me.
This is Braylon Carter. He's in 11th grade. And this is a great question. He asked, what can I do to make sure I have a high chance of being approved for good insurance?
Right now, try your best to eliminate accidents, right? Most definitely eliminate tickets. Tickets they take 3 years to fall off. So you can be brutally financially punished for 3 years because of a simple mistake of trying to just get somewhere where you could have slowed down. Don't text and drive. We know that's a big thing, right? Uh, and build your insurance history. I say that by saying this: as soon as you can, even if you're on your when you once you get off of your parents' policy and you get your own policy, make sure that you don't have a lapse in your coverage. When you have a lapse in coverage, meaning that you don't pay month to month like you should, and you go a period and letting your policy cancels, what that does is make your rates higher. That's one factor that'll make your rate higher besides tickets and accidents. Because the insurance underwriters is looking at it as you don't have consistency, right? Or you can't or you're not keeping your policy in place. It works just like credit. So, and another thing, when you want to become a homeowner someday, like I am, and you have a deed in your name, it can affect your homeowner's insurance rates as well if you haven't had continuous insurance history. So it works just like credit. Hope that helps.
Absolutely. This is Cameron Jobe. He's in 10th grade, one of our football players and baseball players here at Velma Jackson. And he asked, what made you choose insurance as opposed to other businesses?
Insurance was first thing I knew that it was a recession proof business, right? Recession proof. When all fails and everything goes down, we're still here. We're still working. And I saw that through the pandemic where we were making the most revenue during that time because we were helping people put their financial affairs in order, right? Um, Insurance is one of those things as well as where I'm needed. I felt like I could be the hero in my community, right? If someone's home is burnt down or I need to go by someone's house, I can be that person to go assess and walk around the home, right? Uh, I can go to the rescue during an auto accident, right? And here's the most powerful thing: when that family member dies, how powerful and strong would it be for you to be that person that's delivering the check? That's a that's one feeling that you have to feel, and feeling that is life changing. So that's my super. That I feel like that's this industry helps me um, expound on my superpowers, right? Unlike others, and then guess what? I don't physically have to work hard, and I get a chance to dress up and look good almost every day. So, hey, and I talk to different people every day, and I get to manage a team to help them uh, learn about our systems and processes. So, and you make a lot of
That's
money.
awesome. And you've mentioned a couple things that I like because you mentioned about how you said in the black community, especially in the rural black communities, how people aren't set up with life insurance. And the hashtag has been popular the last couple of years. No more hashtag, no more GoFundMe funerals.
Yes.
And it's bad enough when you have a tragedy in a community where somebody loses their life, but then to put the burden of the community to help put that person in the ground is even more of a tragedy, putting strain on people that are already stressed. And I know I've had people tell me, well, I don't want to have life insurance. That'll give me bad luck because it means I'm going to pass away. Well, I had a friend in college. Her father lost his life with cancer, and they lost the house because there was no life insurance. And he was a great man. He was a great father, but he did, I just don't think he knew. And it doesn't mean that he was bad, but it's just a matter about having the information. And then you also mentioned about how teenagers want to ball out and just want to spend the money. Well, that money you put in insurance, it is amazing how one, you don't even miss it. But also you mentioned about you never know when you need it because my best friend almost died of a stroke at 28 years old.
Mm.
And he was in the hospital for months, had to go through rehab. But because he had insurance in place, he really didn't miss any income. And then I didn't have anything near that serious, but I had a life-threatening medical emergency a couple years ago. And because I had some insurances in place, it didn't really cost me that much, and I was able
Mhm.
to get a lot of money back because of coverage I have with the hospital. So little, and I don't miss that money. So it's little things
Okay.
like that that can make a huge difference financially. And we are almost out of time. And Derek Mitchell, who's part of our drum line, has a question I want to end with. He's in
Okay.
11th grade, but we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much
Yes,
for
sir. No
taking some
problem.
time for us. But a couple things before we go. Tell us where we can find information on your business, Bradley Ford and Associates.
Okay. You can follow me on Facebook, on social media, um, at Bradley Ford. You'll see me on the picture, probably smiling with some insurance things or the Ford agency there um, in my profile pic. Instagram at Your Family Insurance Agent. Um, you can Google me. Man, that's a great thing. I never thought I would be Googled. You can Google Bradley Ford, Allstate, originally Mississippi, and you will be able to see myself and probably some past team members. I need to update that website and pictures. But anyway, it's there. You can see my ratings there as well. And I'm also, if you follow me on social media, you'll be able to see my link if you want to be mentored, coached, things of that nature. You'll be able to see my link where you'll see several things that I'm involved in. So there you have it.
Awesome. Well, the last thing before we go is it's no coincidence I didn't have you speak to a class of all young men today, and something that's a recurring theme for me is building strong black men in our community because it is something that is desperately needed. I know social media has a hold on a lot of people, and we know it's not going anywhere, and that's fine. But finding positive things, taking education seriously, taking professionalism seriously, taking initiative, not going the way, not going the path that you see. Because, like we said, it's not where you begin; it's where you finish.
Hmm.
And as these young men start making decisions on what they want to do after high school, because I got a lot of talent in here, but
Hmm.
what I do lack is a lot of confidence.
Hmm.
So they see someone like you and they say, "Yeah, that'd be really great for me to be a professional, but I don't know how to get there. I can't do that. My grandparents didn't have that opportunity. My parents didn't have that opportunity." And look, you'll never hear an argument from me. The
Hmm.
resources for decades were not there. The
Hmm.
information for decades was not there, and the access certainly wasn't there. But there's
Hmm.
never been a better time than right now to make something out of your life and be successful. So that was what Derek Mitchell asked. He's in 11th grade. He's part of our drum line. And what I wanted to ask as well is, as these young men get ready to have a huge transition after high school, why do
Hmm.
they need to understand that we need more successful black men in our communities? Because our economy needs it, our neighborhoods need it, our families need it, and our cities need it.
Absolutely. And I would say this: your environment explains you, but it does not excuse you.
There you go.
So, yep. So wherever you're from, the circumstances that are around you, you don't have to hone into that. You don't have to be there and stay there, right? That's why we have people like myself. You have people like Mr. Greg here. We're all trying to help you as leaders to be who you need to be and prepare. We're preparing you because I tell you this before we end. It's a dog eat dog world out here. Once you get into the real world, and nobody is coming out to save you. Once you realize that, you'll start doing the right things now. And we're just trying to give you an early head start on how real life works. So when I say no one is coming to save you, that means when you're an adult, you're an adult, right? So that's why it's good to be in the right rooms. It's good to apply yourself, is apply your knowledge that you're learning now, gain a skill set so that you can continue to have revenue for the remainder of your life. Get insurance, right? Do the right things for the right reason, right? Invest into your self development, right? All the time. Career development. Ask questions. Ask a lot of questions. No question is a dumb question. Ask questions. Stay curious. And I guarantee you, and keep moving forward, I guarantee you, you'll be successful. The world needs you.
Absolutely. Love it. I know you got to get back to work, and we thank you so much for fitting this in your schedule. But my man, Bradley Ford, owner of Bradley Ford and Associates over there in Flowood, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Have a great one.
I see you, buddy.
All right.